20% of a number is 8. Let's say the number is x. So 20% of x is 8. Given this information, we have to find 25% of x. Now there are two ways to solve this. Either you solve for x first, or you can use ratios. So if I solve for x first, 20% is actually 0.2. So 0.2x is 8. Hence x is 8 upon 0.2, which is 40. Once you have x, you can find 25% of x. That's 0.25 times 40. Or you can say 1 upon 4 times 40, which is 10. So that's B. The second approach could be simple ratios. If 20% is 8, what is 25%? Right? I'm just calling the answer y for now. So 20 upon 25 is basically 8 upon y. Now this can be simplified to 4 upon 5. So what we have is 4y equals 40. Hence y is 10. So this is the second approach, in which I did not find the number, but using the ratios I got the answer. So now we know that x plus 3 is a number which is a multiple of 3. Now if this is a multiple of 3, x has to be a multiple of 3 as well. Because 3 is a multiple of 3 obviously. So the final answer can be a multiple of 3 only if both the numbers which are added are multiples of 3. This we know for sure. Obviously this is 3 times 1. So this actually tells us that x is also a multiple of 3. Given this information, let's try and solve for this one. Now part A is saying is x. X we just said is a multiple of 3. So this is not the answer because we are trying to find the one which is not a multiple of 3. Similarly, x plus 6 is just x plus 3 plus 3, a multiple of 3 plus a multiple of 3. So this is also a multiple of 3. We have 6x plus 18. Now this is the most obvious case because I can pull out a 3 from both the terms, which makes it a multiple of 3. D, we just said x is a multiple of 3. So 2x is also a multiple of 3. And adding a 6, this has to be a multiple of 3 as well. But the last one, that's 3x plus 5. Now we know that 3x is obviously a multiple of 3, but 5 is not a multiple of 3. So in this case, the sum is also not a multiple of 3. Hence the answer is E. So we have a figure given to us and we know that length AB is equal to length AC, which also means their opposite angles are also equal, which means angle at C is also 40 degrees. Now we have to solve for x. X is equal to this angle A because they are vertically opposite. So we are using the property of vertically opposite angles. Now to find this angle A, I can use the property of total angle in a triangle, which we know is 180. So let's say x plus 40 plus 40. This is the total angle, which we know is 180. Hence x is 180 minus 80 and that is 100. Hence the answer is C. Okay. So we have 2 by 5. When I change division into multiplication, that becomes 3 by 2 for the first bracket. Then we have plus. Now for these two, I'll have to take the LCM. The LCM is going to be 10. So that would make it 5 minus 1 upon 10. So this simplifies to 3 by 5. The first bracket is 3 by 5. The second bracket is 4 by 10, which is actually 2 by 5. That's 3 by 5 plus 2 by 5, which is just 5 by 5, and that is 1. Hence the answer is E. Now there is a fixed cost of $1 for the car and the driver, and there is a variable cost of 0.75 per passenger, per additional passenger. So let's say there are n additional passengers and they're saying the cost is 3.25. If I solve for n, that's basically 2.25 upon 0.75, which is 3. So this is the number of additional passengers. What they're asking us to find is how many people were riding in a car. So there was one person initially and there are 3 additional people. That's actually total of 4 people riding in the car. Hence the answer is C. Okay, so we have an equation that's y cube equals 2y square. To solve the equation, you'll have to factorize it after making one side 0. So if I bring everything on one side and make one side 0, this is what I get. Now factorization, you can clearly see y square common to both. I can take y square common, which would give me y minus 2 inside the bracket. Now this is the factorization. When I equate y square to 0, I get y as 0. When I equate y minus 2 to 0, I get y equals 2. Now in the question we already know that y cannot be 0, hence y has to be 2, and that's C. Now x and y are two negative integers. Basically both are less than 0. Also x minus y is equal to 1. This means that x and y are two consecutive integers. Because the difference between them is 1 unit, or you can also say this is x equals 1 plus y. So that also tells you that x and y are consecutive. Now I have to find the least possible value of x into y. Now first thing, x into y is the product of two negative integers, which means this has to be positive. I have to find the least positive value for the product. Now that is only possible when the magnitudes of x and y are small and they're integers. Now but x cannot be 0 and y cannot be 0 because 0 is not negative. 0 is neutral. It's neither positive nor negative. So I cannot use 0. So besides 0, the small integers in magnitude can be 1 and 2. Hence I can use the two consecutive negative integers as minus 1 and minus 2. Now this is the combination which would give me the least possible value of x into y, and that is minus 1 times minus 2, which is plus 2. Hence the answer is C. Now what we have is the shape of a park, and with that we also know that this square has an area of 144. So square is 144, which means each side is 12 units. So basically this is 12, this is 12, this is 12, and this is 12. With this we also know that the perimeter of the triangle is 28, one of which is 12, which means 28 minus 12, which is 16, is the sum of the other two sides of the triangle. Basically these two sides. Let's just say S1, S2. So S1 plus S2 is 16. Now if we talk about the arc length, this half of the circumference, that would be, circumference is basically 2 pi r, but this is just half of that. That's just pi times r. Now what is the radius? Radius is basically half of the diameter, which is 6 units. So 6 pi is the part of the circumference which is included in the shape. Now what we have to find is the total perimeter, which is the sum of the outer sides. So if I talk about the perimeter, that's going to be these two plus these two sides of the square and this arc. So these are the outer boundaries of the shape, and the sum of all these lengths is the perimeter. Now what we have to do is just add these sides. Now this was S1, S2, which I already found as 16. So from the triangle we have 16, from the square we have two sides of 12 each, and from the semicircle we have 6 pi. This is the total perimeter of the park, and which is 16 plus 24, that's 40 plus 6 pi units, and that is option C. So there is a tank with a capacity of 45 gallons. Basically, when full, it contains 45 gallons. At the beginning of October, it's 80% full. Basically, 80% of 45 is the volume inside the tank, which is 4 by 5 into 5, and that's basically 36. Initially beginning of October, there were 36 gallons in the tank. At the end of October, it was one third full, basically one third of 45, its actual capacity, and that is 15 gallons. What we have to find is the number of gallons used in October, basically the difference of the starting and the ending volume, and that is just 36 minus 15, which is 21 gallons. Hence the answer is A. Now this arc has an angle of 50 degrees, which means angle at the center is 50 degrees, which means that this triangle has an exterior angle of 50 degrees at O. Now we know that this is an isosceles triangle because the two sides are equal. These are the radii, hence their opposite angles are also equal. So using the property of exterior angle equals sum of interior angles, I can solve for x. That actually is 50 equals x plus x, which is 2x, hence x is 25 degrees. Therefore the answer is E. Now what we have is A upon B into B upon C into C upon D into D upon E into X equals 1. Using this information, we have to find X. Let's just simplify this as much as possible. So the B's get cancelled out, the C's get cancelled out, also the D's get cancelled out. What I'm left with is A upon EX equals 1. Hence X is E upon A. And that's option B. So now what we have is the sum of x and y equals z. So x plus y is equal to z. And the average of m, n and p, which means m plus n plus p upon 3, that's q. Given this information, we have to find the sum x plus y plus m plus n plus p in terms of z and q. So this already is z. We can find the sum m plus n plus p by taking average into n, and that's 3q. So therefore, if I have to find the sum of 5 numbers, these 5 numbers, that's just z plus 3q, and therefore it's option B. Now we have a square and there's an isosceles triangle inscribed in square. We also know that the area of the square is 4, which means s square is 4, and therefore every side is 2 units, which means this is 2, all 4 sides are 2 each. Given this information, we have to find the perimeter of the triangle ABC. Now this is an isosceles triangle and we know the base is 2. We have to find the other 2 sides to get the sum of all sides. Now to find these, I have to use the Pythagoras theorem because we know that angle in a square is 90 each. Now I can consider this right angle triangle to find the length of AB. So this is 2 units and this is half the side, that's 1 unit. So I can use the Pythagoras, that's 1 square plus 2 square under root, and this is the length of AB, which is root 5. So root 5 is AB, it's also AC. Now I have all three sides of the triangle. To find the perimeter, just add these. That's 2 plus root 5 plus root 5. Root 5 plus root 5 is just 2 times root 5. And this is the perimeter of the triangle inscribed in the square. Hence the answer is C.